Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. Day 1 of patch 10.15 is in the books, and well, tonight I want to talk to you all about day 1 of the patch playing Warlock, talking about different specs, different builds, reviewing logs, talking about some of the new pets you can acquire, looking at sims, and I guess just answering questions that you guys might have about day 1 Warlock stuff. Now, later on this week, we're making a video talking about, I guess, Warlock week 1 performance in the raid, and looking more at logs, a bit more in depth and all that, but night 1 is in the books, sort of. It's 4 in the morning, and I want to get this video out there. So, yeah, like always, Week Wars add-ons down below, Twitch, Discord links. You want them, they're for free for you guys. Once again, like always, before we get into it, a shout out to my patrons. I'll support on Patreon, guys. Thank you a million times. I really appreciate it. If you can get supporting on Patreon, should be a link up here, as well as down below. And let's just get this rolling. Let's get right into it. Alright, so getting right into sims. Now, I've run a couple sims here for destruction. This build right here is going to be the double burn to ashes build, which is not playing Grand Warlock's design. 2 points, as you can see right here. It is indeed still playing Crashing Chaos. This is the build that you would play in settings where Grand Warlock's design does not net you an extra Infernal, and or the fight lasts a good while. Now, a good example is a fight like Kazara, right, that lasts about 330 to 345. If you have Grand Warlock's design, you'll likely be infernaling at the 0 mark, the 2-minute mark, and if the fight lived long enough, about the 4-minute mark. If the fight died around 440, you get a third infernal in with Clash Trinket or whatever combination you're playing with. Third Crushing Chaos does a lot of damage, the boss dies. But a fight like that dies at 340, for example, you're going to get 2 infernals regardless, whether you're playing Grand Warlock's design or not. If you're not playing it, it goes 0-3. If you are playing it, it goes 0-2, and the boss dies at 330, and your third infernal is lost basically at 4. So fights like that, where you're not getting extra infernals or getting that big Grand Warlock's design value, a build like this playing 2 points and burn to ashes is going to be better most of the time. I have logs up here. We'll look at it in a minute. I haven't gone through them in hours. We're going to comb through them just, in a few minutes here, but you'll see it a lot in those, I would assume. Now, this is my own gear, my own sims, all that. 3-minute build playing Iridius and Chromatic Essence with full raid buffs, 139, 124. This build, where's my other build at here? Playing Destro, right here. Destro, this is the Grand Warlock's design build. Same thing, Chromatic Essence, all ally buffs, playing Spoils and Altheris, 138046. So Burn Ashes build ahead by about 1000 DPS. Once again, if you can make good use of the Grand Warlock's design 2-minute damage profile, you can see this is Grand Warlock's design, it's good. If you can't really, or for whatever reason, 3 minutes better, then you want to play 2 points in Burn to Ashes, 2 points in Crashing Chaos, and, no points in GWD. Just sort of depends, but either way, both builds looking good, 139, 138 respectively. Affliction sims here, this is going to be the Haunted Soul build, playing Seize Vitality, playing Haunted Soul, looking at about, we're playing Dread Touch too, but looking at about 132, 478. I am not playing the Eranog ring here, we'll look at that in a minute. Eranog ring is indeed still good for Destro or for Demo for me, but it has been nerfed. So Affliction looking about 132, 478, playing Haunted Soul, 134, 242, so about ahead by about 2k DPS, playing the Malevolent Visionary build, playing Spoils and Clash Trinket comparatively to Spoils and Chromatic Essence. A bit of min-maxing here, having a Vessel might make this a little better in the Haunted Soul build, playing it over, let's say, Spoils. But either way, looking at about 134, 242. And my Demo sim is 136017, playing Iridius Fragment. This is another portal build, all that. If you want links to these builds, by the way, new talent builds, they're all in the guides that came out a few days ago in the description. Just expand it and they're all in there. Now, Demo, once again, good power infusion scaling, all of that. Haste scaling. These are not PI sims also. Did not sim with PI any of these. So for the most part, things really haven't changed. Destro was simming higher than Demo for a while anyways. Last patch, where Demo was being played in most settings due to the damage profile, power infusion, Clash Trinket value, all that kind of stuff. For the most part, it seems to be about the same. Destro gained a little bit probably in single target. AF gained some quality of life increases, but for the most part, things are the same. Honestly, Demo feels about, well, pretty much exactly the same as it has for a while. Now, getting into Eranog ring questions and all that. So I have run 3 sims here. This is my Great Vault sim from today. It's sort of a jerry rig kind of way to do it, but it works out fine. I opened high gloves that I can upgrade to 447, or I opened a high ring, which was this thing, right? So here's my current Destro sim. 138089 roughly. The gloves are 500 DPS. So my highest Eranog ring sim is basically sitting right here, 137622. You can see that having my Great Vault ring, 447 with a socket, with this ring with a socket, crafted ring with a socket, this ring. There are combinations that do indeed beat out the Eranog ring. It's behind by about 340 DPS roughly, give or take, which is expected for the most part. We're playing a Haste Mastery ring, we opened one from the vault, and we're still playing Chaos Incarnate. We're playing the 2-minute build here. So Eranog ring, for me personally, has fallen behind for Destro after the nerf, which makes sense. Moving on to Affliction here. It was never good for AF, and surprisingly, didn't even sim it actually. Not good for AF. Don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, still bad for AF. Demo's the interesting thing. So when it comes to Demo, Diurnus Chosen does indeed still sim higher than the, I guess, crafted ring. My highest ring combination that's being paired here is Diurnus Chosen with the Entropic Convergence loop. Now, there are other combinations here. Diurnus Chosen Crypt Mastery ring, these being paired up here, 2 big rings being paired here. And the reason behind this is because when it comes to the raid, there's a lot of Haste Mastery gear in this raid. My gems have shifted to Mastery Crit gems because there's just so much Haste Mastery in this raid, right? I want more Mastery or Crit. So this ring being big versatility, minor crit, the secondary stats in this ring are still very good for me. It's a socket as well, and the fire effect is still not totally irrelevant. This ring doesn't have any lesser amount of secondary stats to, I guess, compensate for the fire buff. It's still a bit of an extra damage being added to it. So it's important to run your own sims. When I had run sims a few weeks ago, this ring was not as good. Higher rings in combination were better. Like having, this crafted ring with Entropic Convergence loop or whatever was better. But with my stats and things changing, Diurnus Chosen is still a little better. But at the same time, I would encourage you to run your own sims because it might vary a bit for Destro and Demo for you. But for AF, the ring was bad, and it's even worse now. So if you were concerned about Eranog rings, I wouldn't really be concerned anymore. That is just pretty much the case. Now, when it comes to the new trinkets from the raid, so there is a new trinket called Mirror of Fractured Tomorrows from the raid. Now, this thing drops at 437. However, it can be 441 if you upgrade it. If you do the raid on hard mode, it drops at 441, so it can become 447. Now, this thing, recently I ran sims, was simming a decent bit worse than Iridius Fragment. Now, this current gear here is Iridius Fragment and Clash Trinket, so this thing is basically an 800 DPS upgrade currently in sims for me over Iridius Fragment. But the big thing here, it's important to pay attention here. This trinket has been implemented in sims. How do I word this? So here's a sim with this trinket and Clash Trinket, right? So when it comes to this trinket in sims, there are 3 parts to the trinket. So you have the effect here, gives you 3k of your biggest secondary stat. I don't even know what it is for me, but it's a good bit of secondary stats. Now, Iridius Fragment gives you baseline intellect, which is also pretty big, right? Being there, it gives you basically 5k. It's reduced each cast you have, so I mean it's not 5k for the whole duration, but it's still there. Iridius Fragment, though, is mastery, like baseline mastery with an intellect on use, right? This trinket here is baseline intellect with a big secondary stat use, and it also summons a copy of yourself that does damage for 20 seconds. Now, the big thing here, this trinket does not currently work when it comes to summoning an image of yourself. It will summon it, like I'll pop it here, for example. It'll spawn right here next to me. Hit some damage in this thing. Here, just pop this. Pop the trinket. There's the ad. Right there, it's casting. But if you pull up details, it gave me haste, which is interesting. If you pull up details, there is no damage breakdown here from it. It casts an ability called Sand Blast. It is currently bugged in game. I've confirmed it with... It's confirmed. It's not working. So the sims are accounting for Sand Blast working. But it is not working in game. I would not play this now. And to a similar extent, I'm not sure if the sims have it doing like 3% of your damage, roughly. It's sitting right here at 2.8%. It's having each individual Sand Blast, which should be... Find this here. I can find it somewhere. It's late. I'm tired, chat. I'm sorry. Chat, good lord. It's having each individual Sand Bolt, I'm sorry, doing about 27k, which... For a trinket that gives you a large amount of secondary stats, 3k of your highest stat, in addition to being a baseline intellect trinket, and also doing 3% raw damage with the other half of the on use, if it does indeed do this much damage per summon of the Sandman, calling him Sandman, it's what it is, it will likely be out in an Iridius Fragment. But I don't know if it'll actually do that. I'm not sure if sims have the right value in, or they just put a value in, because this trinket was bugged for all of PTR. From what I've seen, there was never a build where it actually dealt damage. So if it actually does deal that much damage on average and it makes up 3% of your damage breakdown, plus 3k secondary stats, plus baseline intellect, yeah, this will probably beat out a Radius Fragment. But if it doesn't do that, or it's doing less damage than that, then probably need to wait and see where it goes. I would not play this in game now regardless until they fix the bug, because you're losing value on the Sandman, and a Radius Fragment will indeed be better at that point, because 3% of your damage is a considerable amount. Now, the other trinket to talk about is actually this. It is called Time Thief's Gambit. This trinket is also from the raid. It is from Morchi, which I don't know how to pull it up. You see, it is in here. It is from Morchi, which I got both today. It's very interesting. Baseline intellect, it gives you about 10% haste whenever you use it, and triggers a paradox 2 minutes later. This trinket has a 1 minute cooldown, so you can pop it every single minute. Every Dark Lair will have it. Basically, every Tyrant will have it too. But the paradox triggers 2 minutes later. If the paradox arrives, you're basically frozen, you're stunned, and can't do anything for 5 seconds, which, depending where you're at times not a huge deal, at times a very big deal, depending if you're in plus or if you have a boss mechanic on you. Now, the interesting thing with this trinket, though, is that my question, I didn't get it on PTR. One of my questions was, how does the paradox work? Can you delay the paradox? What happens? You can indeed delay the paradox. So, interestingly enough, let me just hop into game here and go full screen for you guys. So, let's say, for example, you're in Mythic Plus, pulling out of packs. You can pop this trinket. Just the haste is on me. There's the paradox. 2 minutes away, right? Start killing mobs. Watch the duration on the paradox. Go from 2. If I kill a handful of mobs here, it'll be 3. There's 3, for example, right? Kill this thing. Probably should get a pet out that wouldn't hurt. Should be 4 minutes in second tier. Cast a Demonic Strength. There's 4. Now, the interesting thing is that my initial question was, okay, I guess my question was, if I use the trinket again, basically a minute later, what happens to the paradox, right? Because in certain fights where there are a lot of ads present, this can be pretty easy to push back, right? If you kill a boss, it totally removes the paradox, right? So how does this work? Are you able to delay the paradox long enough where you don't really lose any value or don't get stunned? And interestingly enough, we're at about 5 minutes here. We push to 6. This will probably be about 7 roughly when we kill these things. Interestingly enough, when I pop the trinket again in 4 seconds here, watch my debuff being 6 minutes. I'm going to pop the trinket now. Doesn't reset. It maintains the paradox. So as long as you're killing mobs, it's now 7 minutes. We're killing more mobs, and we have the haste buff again. So as long as you can maintain the paradox and or extend the paradox, this trinket could be really good in plus, actually, depending on what setting you're in. If there's constant mobs dying. Because at 7 minutes, like, I think chances are pretty low you're going to have a paradox arrive at some point. As long as you're staying in combat and killing mobs or killing bosses. We're at 8 minutes again, and we have trinket in half a minute. So it could be worth obtaining. If you obtain either of them, I wouldn't play the mirror yet because it is bugged. This could be worth testing. Mythic Plus was down all day for me, but we'll test it out tomorrow and the day later, because baseline intellect, 10 or 11% haste, minute cooldown, looks to be pretty strong. All right, now when it comes to Night 1 of Aberrus, looking at Mythic Parses here and everything, I looked at this earlier, haven't looked in a few hours. I just pulled the page up. So we're going to go, I'm going to be looking at this the first time, essentially, just with you guys. I haven't seen this in a few hours. So when it comes to Warlock Parses, we'll pull up Warlock here, looking at builds more specifically. Kazara, this is overall still, but there's a lot of Demo Parses, unsurprisingly. This fight being a 340 kill time, 350-ish, very good for Demonology because you have your second Nether Portal, and the boss dies. Keep in mind, Augmentation Evoker logs are separate in Warcraft logs. These buffs, like this is not a... The damage here is not with any augmentation buffs. It's just straight up, this is what the Demo Lock did, and that's that. And these builds, what they're playing here, it is going to be the single target build that we talked about in the guide, all that stuff, Sack Souls, everything else, Bloodbound Imps, Vile Fiend, all that, yada, yada, yada. 166, Demo still doing pretty well in Kazara. When it comes to Amalgamation Chamber, this is, okay, it's filtered by every Warlock, it's not just Demo. When it comes to Amalgamation Chamber, so I expect this to be more Demo Warlocks the longer this goes. This is actually a newer parse, wasn't here earlier. The kill time, 357. Once again, good kill time for Demonology. Portal ends, boss dies, playing single target build, no cleave, no reason to cleave in this fight. A lot of Destro parses. Now, once like we talked about earlier, look at this. This build not playing Crashing Chaos, interestingly enough. I'm not really sure as to why I probably would play Crashing here, but it is what it is. We'll see where it goes. There are no Grand Warlock's Design parses in these third and fourth slots here, right? GWD is here at about a 412 kill, but look at the kill times. We have 344, 346. This is what we talked about, right? So if you're playing Grand Warlock's Design, In a fight like this that's dying at 346, you're still only getting 2 Infernals, one at 0 and one at 2. If you're playing a second point and burn to ashes, you're still getting 2 Infernals as well. You get it at 0 and 3. So there's no point to play a Grand Warlock Design build in a fight like this that you expect to die in 345, 350. If fights go longer, like 412, this person got part of an Infernal, right? A 440-ish kill time in this fight would be great for GWD, because you'd have big cleave, big third Infernal, and all of that. Also playing Chromatic Essence and Iridius Fragment with 3-minute build. This build actually playing Iridius Fragment still, but either way, not bad. When it comes to Forgotten Experiments, once again, kill time, 357, 429, 408. Now, these kill times might seem like good Grand Warlock Design kills, but keep in mind, you hold cooldowns in this fight for about a minute or so until the first boss, second boss comes down or whatever, right? So you're not actually getting essentially a third Infernal at 437. You're getting 2 still over the course of this fight. There are some here playing Grand Warlock's Design also, which they might have Infernal on pull. A lot of Iridius Fragments, a lot of Chromatic Essences. But yeah, either way, no real GWD play here. Mostly just Crashing Chaos stuff with 3-minute Infernal, double burn to ashes, and Demo doing okay here as well. Now, when it comes to all these Zakali, this is where we talked about GW seeing its first, probably first play in the raid, and we do, right? At 237 kill time, second Infernal. 454, second Infernal. This being a short kill time, but hey, he actually played an interesting build here with Embers not playing a bit of an odd one. Maybe not odd, I should put it. Not an AoE build, ended up playing just the regular Burn to Ashes build and stuff, but playing a point in Embers here. Comparatively to this build, being a little more AoE based, this being like the de facto plus build. I guess theoretical de facto plus build playing Infernal and GWD. But either way, both builds playing GWD. This build here also playing it. Great. You get a third Infernal, second Infernal, boss blows up. It makes sense. When it comes to Rashok, we have a mix of Demo, Destro, and Af. I would assume this is going to be a Demo fight still later on. Greg is playing, I believe, the Haunted Soul build here on Rashok, if I am right, which he is indeed. A lot of Demo parses here as well, playing single target build, Bloodbound Imps, Sack Souls, all that. Not a whole lot really changing. There's a Destro parse here as well. Karthlock played it at about a 544 kill, playing Grand Warlock's Design. Rashok's a little funky with cooldowns and things. Might have been better playing 2 points in Burn to Ashes, but at the same time, you are able to go 0-2-4 in this fight with Infernal, comparatively to 0 and 3, because your third Infernal with 2 Burn to Ashes would be 6. So likely the better option playing Grand Warlock's Design here. Once again, timing being very important in this fight. Still playing an Iridius Fragment, no spoils here, very interesting to see. Destro Parse here, about a 6-minute kill, playing no GWD, a bit lower, but either way, Destro having some representation there. When it comes to Tuskarn, this is a weird one because these kill times vary a lot as well based on strategies. Tuskarn was bugged today also. There were no lines spawning and there were no embers. This is a wash. They fixed it. This kill time, 442, very good for GWD. This here, good GWD. This, good GWD. This is a little early, but not a big deal. Partial Infernal. This kill time would have been good GWD as well, but also very close. This fight's sort of a mess because, once again, it was bugged today. They fixed it. Magmarax, a lot of demo. Some AF here too, which is nice to see. Demo stuff, playing single target build. Clash Trinket, Iridius, all that. Echo, a lot of demo still. An AF parse. Greg cranking on AF again as well. I would assume this fight is going to be a pretty big demo fight still, the longer it goes on. The highest parses for demo were like 168, 170 last patch. It's just night one of the patch. He played a Malevolent Visionary build here, which is very interesting. But still, a lot of demo. And when it comes to Sarkareth, so Sark's interesting. We have some demo kills and some AF kills. Now, these builds, playing just the same build as before, 1 point Malevolent, Wrath Consumption. This build playing same thing, Dread Touch, actually 2 in Visionary, no in Consumption. And we have 1 build here, playing Dread Touch and 1 here. Now, I am curious to see down the line if there are Doom Blossom builds in this fight with Seed and Sow just really destroying ads with huge, I guess, pad in a sense playing Doom Blossom. You're going to lose a lot of single target damage. Might not be worth it, but we'll see where it goes. A mix of both here. I would assume Demo overtakes a bit here in the long run. Not a very large sample size, but either way, Demo and AF both looking good on Sarkareth. So for the most part, not a whole lot really changed. Still a lot of Demo stuff. AF popping up a little more, which is cool to see. And Destro, once again, having value on certain fights, but GWD, 1 Burn to Ashes versus no GWD, 2 Burn to Ashes. Very dependent on kill time and everything else, but Destro looks to be pretty exciting and gained a bit of ground in a handful of settings. And finally, when it comes to the new pets, so we ended up finding, TSG found this pet, the purple Fell Hunter skin. He found it in Karazhan. Now, this is in Legion Karazhan. not the OG Karazhan. You have to go to the side door to get into Legion Karazhan. You kill Curator, basically you kill Mana Devourer. And once you do that, there's a clip here, from me on stream, which is very exciting. You go upstairs and you kill the Mana Devourer. Once you get into the library, go up the spiral staircase. And once you do, there's a shelf with a pillar next to it. And it looks just like this. There's a little glowing purple piece of paper in it. You click it, and this is what happens. This is a weird Streamception thing. Yoink. There you go. There's your purple Fel Hunter. All there is to it. There it is. Very simple. Very easy. Super awesome to acquire, and it looks really cool. Now, there is another variation of this, which is a red Fel Hunter, which we haven't actually found yet. Let me go back in the full screen here. We have not found this pet yet. It looks, let me fly over here and grab this. It looks basically like that one, but it's red. And THD ended up finding a clue, but we don't know how to actually summon it yet. So it is this Fel Hunter here. This is the one we got from Karazhan. Very cool. If we're to go get it. This one here is the red one. We're not sure where to get this from exactly. Now, the sources are listed as question mark. Obviously, it's hidden. So when it comes to finding it, we have found basically this. This is a clip from stream. It's 4 in the morning. I'm sorry, shameless. Double camera. It's what it is. So Portal Keeper has a bell in Taurus. She has a green portal, a purple one, and a red one. Once you kill her, 3 spawn. If you go to the red portal, there is a gateway up here. This is not here during the boss fight a long time ago. When you click it, it says the gateway sits dormant in front of you. There are engravings of a Fel Hunter upon the surface of these stones. You can interact with it, step away from the gateway. We have tried everything here. Don't know what to do. I've tried toys, Legion gear, trinkets, playing with your pets, emoting, doing whatever. We can't figure it out. So if you guys figure it out, let me know. But this is where it's at. This is a new gateway. It wasn't here previously in the fight. Unless this is bait by Blizzard, something with this gateway, you have to activate it somehow. Now, my assumption is that it's likely a rare drop or just a drop an item from a mob somewhere in the world. Running fire through it doesn't do anything. I tried to imp the spell in it, doesn't do anything. Tried everything. I'm assuming it possibly is like a rare portal stone that drops somewhere. It could even be in the old Legion invasions in Taurus that were out for a while. It could be in those, a rare drop from there. We don't know. But I'm assuming it's something like that. You bring in here, activate the portal, and it summons a pet for you. You get to kill it or, subjugate it, and it's yours. Interacting with it, clicking, walk away from the portal doesn't do anything. But this is as far as we've gotten. As far as 3 in the morning on July 12th. If anybody figures it out, let me know in the comment section below. Because I'm actually very curious. I'd like to have it myself. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, besides that, if you're looking for just like a lot of new pets, for example, the Abyssal, Supremacist Abyssal, and this stuff, right? You can buy a lot of these from the auction house. The Voidwalkers you can get from the auction house. The Imps you can get from doing the quests, which was bugged earlier. A lot of these are farmable from like Terrestrian Ilhov and Chisilin from Dire Maul. But if you want to get a lot of these, all you have to do is have like 40k gold on you. The Grimoires they drop from, or the Grimoires that drop are BOE. So like, for example, the Infernal one is from Gul'dan and Nighthold. But mine was from, not Gul'dan and Nighthold, mine was from Auctioneer Emporigo from the auction house. You go in here and you search Grimoire, and you have Wrathguard, Voidlord, Shavara, Succubus, Fel Imp, and Abyssal. This will unlock all the Infernal skins. It's cool, you can get them pretty fast. I sort of wish that the Supremacist Infernal was hidden behind Killing Supremacists. It's a rare drop, would have been cool. If you want them, they're here, they're pretty cheap, and yeah, that's how you acquire them. Pretty cool, and if you figure out the red dog, please let me know, because I want to grab it. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I answered questions you might have had about Warlock heading into patch 10.15 or day 1, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, things are going to still change a lot over the next 24 to 48 hours. Mythic Plus has been disabled all day. It came up half an hour ago at 3 in the morning my time. So we'll be testing builds out later on this week. Destro stuff, AF stuff, bit of demo stuff, and raiding tomorrow night, and I guess the night after. So if you're looking at that, come by stream, link down below. But it should be fun. I had a lot of fun chasing the pet skins on stuff too. And I guess, honestly, upgrading gear to 447. Eranog ring still being best for me in a sense. It's a bit awkward, but it is what it is. We'll figure it out. And I guess, yeah, the next 48 to 72 hours we'll be telling. So, with all that being said, thanks for watching, guys. If you want any week warriors or add-ons, like always, links down below, Twitch and Discord. We're all for free for you guys. And once again, before we end the video one more time, thanks to my patrons a million times for all support on Patreon. I really appreciate it. If you're looking at supporting, should be a link up here. as well as down below in the video description. Like I said, Plus wasn't even open today for me. I'm hoping that, I mean, it's open now. It opened up, I guess, half an hour ago. But tomorrow and this weekend, I'll be slamming a lot of keys. The Grand Warlock's design versus non-Grand Warlock's design thing is going to be a little confusing to some people, I would assume, for the first few days. But we'll cover it and clarify everything. And the guide clarifies a bit too. So either way, whether you're playing GWD or not, Crushing Chaos is still a lot of fun. And yeah, it feels good ripping some big bolts. So that being said, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all again soon on stream. Peace.